pizza. Anyways, when LaTanya asked me if I would cover her so that she could finish some of her med work and not have to take Matthew to the doctor, I jumped on it immediately, and I was like, hell yes, absolutely, get me the hell out of this house. Because in my long career of weird gigs, I had never needed to get out of one of my jobs worse than this. I was working in a place called Alpine Grove. It was a 12-bed locked facility for men with schizoaffective disorder, which means they were bipolar and schizophrenic, and only there because otherwise they'd be in jail, which is why it was locked. And I was halfway through the second shift in a double, which sucks. But this was a third shift into first shift double. And my third shift double was supposed to be what they call a sleeping shift, where you get paid $1 less and you sleep all night unless something happens. So something happened. Tracy, who was a guy who never had issues ever, decided this was the night and he was going to go outrageously I hate to use crazy in this context, but he was exhibiting craziness and decided to go out in the backyard and just smoke cigarettes, which he was not allowed to do, but instead of like dragging him back inside, they just woke me up to go outside and smoke with him. And the first thing he said is, I'm walking out of the door from a nicely lit facility to a pitch black, except for one light, backyard with him standing under it, is him going. He looks at me, he goes, the first time you eat another man's flesh, most people cry.
Oh my God.
Me, I laughed. And this was the beginning of the rest of the night. Luckily, I was about a year out of the Peace Corps, and my personality is kind of, I'd say 50% nerd, 25% thug, and 25% Jewish grandmother, which all kind of like combines into a person who's like perfect for a job like this. And I'd learned how to so when he said that, inside I'm freaking out. What I did was light my own cigarette and go, huh. And that was it. So got up all night. Finally, I get the directions from LaTanya. I'm like, absolutely, yes, just get me the hell out of here. I'm just going to drive Matthew to the doctor, take an hour out of the house, come back, work the rest of my shift, and go home. Matthew was great. He was more on the bipolar side of things, less delusional, and me and him got along well. So we walked out to the car, and he's being Matthew. He's like, and we're talking, and he's talking at a low voice, and he's calm, which means that, I can actually understand him, because unfortunately, he's on all these meds that when his affect goes up a bit, it starts making his tongue a little bit more swollen, and he's like, you can't understand a word he's saying. So we get on the road, and we get to jump on 196. This is confusing if you live there, so I apologize if this is more confusing to you, but there's 196 and I-96.
Oh, God.
They go generally the same direction. I'd asked 5 times. I'm like, 196, right? LaTanya's like, yes, 196. 1, not I, 1. It's like, God damn it, yes, 1. So I'm like, so I get on the road, and Michael just starts, his affect's starting to go up. He's going from a fairly mellow dude to a 6-year-old ADD kid, which is, I can say, because I used to be one of those, who just ate all the sugar in the world. And he's just like, I apologize for this, but this is what I dealt with for the next hour. Which sucks in a house.
Oh my God.
But when he's in the driver's seat next to you, in the passenger seat, and this is for 45 minutes straight. I'm trying to merge and shit, and I'm driving. Finally, we get to 45 minutes down the highway, and it occurs to me, I'm only supposed to be on the highway 15 minutes. I am going way the hell out of my way on the wrong highway and have to turn around. And this entire time...
Oh my God.
So we finally, 2 hours late, 2 hours later than it was supposed to get there, get to the doctor's office. He goes, we walk in. Doctor's moved everything around. He looks at the doctor and goes, fuck you, motherfucker. I'm not going anywhere with you. Turns around and walks out. And the doctor goes, and then I just turned around and walked back out.
Oh, God.
Get back in the car. Mike goes,
Oh, God.
continues to go. Okay, so tell me if this makes sense. When you are forced to learn a language, actually, when you're forced to learn like 5 languages in a very short period of time because you have to, not because you want to, because you have to, it does weird shit to your brain. And there's a moment a lot of times where the shit just kind of clicks in and all of a sudden you understand a lot more than you did. And while he's going, this is exactly what happened on that ride home. I told you when we were merging onto 196 that it was I-96. And I kept saying, but no, you know where you're going. And I realized I was so agitated that this entire trip, the thug part of me was in there that's just like, just shut the fuck up and get us where we're going. Where I really needed to be riding, like, that's a horrible way to put this. I really need to be riding the Jewish grandmother personality and like listening. And from that point on, not only did Matt and I get along, it was hard, man. Get along famously, but I spoke fluent mushmouth.